What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Kai King here, and this weekend we have a lot of exciting fights coming up, and watch till the end. But before we begin, remember to subscribe to this channel so we could keep growing together. Thank you. So on May 2nd, which is actually tomorrow, we have Ryan Garcia versus Rolando Romero, right? And Rolly has been in the ring with Tank for 6 rounds, so we like the over 6.5, but Rolly's defense may not be good enough for Garcia because Garcia is very quick. Rolly leaves himself open with his punches where he reaches and swings too wide, which means he could get caught with the left hook or get knocked out. We see both of them being there to fight and not just to play pity pat, right? And Rolly has some speed as well, so he might be able to catch Garcia with something. I mean, we've seen them spar before, and obviously sometimes sparring and fighting are two different things. And I've seen Garcia catch, Rolly with some left hooks where I'm just like, if Rolly didn't have on a headgear, what would have happened? And because they've sparred before, they're probably not going to be fighting scared since they're a little familiar with each other. We see this as a firefight where Rolly will probably try to press the action and be the aggressor, just like he is usually in his other fights. And, Garcia wouldn't want to give up too much positioning, so he's going to be working on his counter punches. We think skill-wise in terms of technique, power, speed, precision, Ryan edges Rolly by a little bit. So we would go with the Ryan Garcia money line. If you're feeling a little bit risky and would like to make more money, then we would definitely recommend the over 6.5. And obviously right now Ryan Garcia is a negative 1100. So some of you guys might be like, are you crazy? You're going to bet him on the money line? Well, there's going to be a lot more fights I'm going to review, so keep watching and we could parlay everything together to make the odds a lot lower, and it could be in your favor where you can make some more money. The next fight is Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez, and here we do see Haney outboxing Ramirez as long as Haney doesn't fight off his back foot and keeps it in the center of the ring while constantly turning Ramirez. He has to keep resetting him or else he's going to get caught. Ramirez is naturally a pressure fighter, so Haney needs to keep that jab going upstairs, downstairs, and constantly be on the move and not get backed up like what I was saying before. And he needs to be very, very careful when Ramirez gets close, because when Ramirez gets close to his opponents, he likes throwing power combos. And Haney has been away from the ring for a while now, so that ring rust could be serious. And we don't know after the last fight that he had with Ryan how he's going to react and, feel once he gets under the lights. We don't know where his mental is going to be at once he gets under the lights. He might be traumatized or he might be hungry and try to, search for some blood. We still don't know how well Haney might be able to handle Ramirez's power and style. We think that Haney is going to outbox him because he's definitely faster, but we're not going to put anything past Ramirez either. Haney's going to try to box, but Ramirez is going to try to make this into a fight. So if we really had to bet on this, we would definitely bet the over 10.5 or the Devin Haney money line, because we believe Devin Haney this time around is not here to lose at all. Next, we have Teofimo Lopez Jr. versus Arnold Barboza Jr. And we honestly see the fight going the distance here. In our opinion, Teofimo is the more athletic fighter, and he's definitely younger. However, we think that Barboza came up fighting the heavier fighter, so we don't think that Teofimo can hurt Barboza per se. We do see Barboza trying to press Teofimo, but we believe this fight will mainly be them feeling each other out constantly, and also a chess match where they're trying to position themselves so they could capitalize off each other's mistakes. And the thing about Teofimo is he doesn't use his jab enough. I mean, from his last fight, Teofimo doesn't use his jab enough to set up punches and keep fighters away. He likes to fight in the Philly shell stance, which means Barboza can easily close the distance on him, just like the last guy that Teofimo fought. And Barboza is extremely calculated and technical, which is why we think the fight won't be fast-paced. We see the fight happening mainly in the center of the ring. Ultimately, we'll be comfortable betting on this going 10.5 rounds, being that it's hard to call a winner, but we had to. We'll go with Teofimo because we think he can be more active than Barboza. He's also the younger fighter, possibly more marketable. Barboza's older, and he's probably getting ready to retire from boxing. On May 3rd, we have Canelo Alvarez versus William Skull, and obviously we think that Canelo is going to win this fight. And here's the reason why, right? So Skull drops his hands a lot, which means he's very susceptible to Canelo's counters. We think that Canelo will be able to drop him, but we're not 100% sure of that, right? It's just a prediction. But Skull is a Cuban style fighter, which means he has decent movement, utilizes the jab, and doesn't really get into brawls. But the only issue is he's too big. So I feel like he gets tired very easily, doesn't have much of a gas tank. But Canelo's gas tank is not much better than his either, as we can see, in his previous fights. But we think that Canelo has the quicker hands here. And because Canelo is going to make Skull expend more energy because, he's going to be pressing him, we think that Skull is going to get tired quicker than Canelo is. We do believe that Skull will resort to, using his jab, lateral movement, and also a lot of clinching because of Canelo's style. And even though Canelo is 4 inches shorter, we still think that he's going to press the action and be able to cut the ring on Skull. And we believe that, Canelo is going to be able to cut the ring with footwork, body shots, and just closing the distance on Skull, where Skull won't have a choice but to fight. Unless, of course, Skull is able to handle Canelo's power and be able to really use that lateral movement and constantly pump that jab in Canelo's face with enough speed and rhythm to not get countered. But to do that with Canelo for 12 rounds, it's almost impossible. We see a lot of fighters try to do that, and Canelo's just that experienced where he's able to close the distance. So we definitely have Canelo by money line. I know that there's some knockdown props that people are looking into. I would risk and bet that too if I were you, if I had some, money laying around that's disposable. But obviously, the safer way to do it is to parlay Canelo with the money line along with other money lines. Next is Naoya Inoue versus Ramon Cardenas. Okay, so Cardenas likes to fight on the inside, and most of his combos shows us that, right? He likes to throw his uppercuts, his hooks, and his cross. And yeah, he uses the jab, but not as much as Inoue does. So we feel like Inoue should be able to close the distance and go in and out to pop Cardenas at will, especially with Inoue's speed. We think Inoue outboxes him just based on experience. And Cardenas leaves his left hand down a lot, so he's definitely open to Inoue's right cross, which means he could possibly get dropped. Cardenas' trainer is focusing a lot on the power of Cardenas from what we saw in the media workout, but Inoue has power too and has very high ring IQ, so we need to make sure that they bring more to the table to fight Inoue than just power. We do see Inoue winning this fight, and we'll bet on either the fighter getting knocked down as the prop bet, only because Inoue has been dropped before and Cardenas' power is not to be underestimated. If that's what his coach is big on, especially, right? And obviously, we think Inoue can drop Cardenas too. We think if Inoue can handle Cardenas' power, then it should be an easy fight for Inoue to win. If you'll like to parlay Inoue with other fights to lower your odds, that's a good one. But yeah, ultimately we'll take Inoue either by money line or either fighter to get dropped or to get knocked down. You get the point. Next is Rafael Espinosa versus Edward Vasquez. We think Espinosa will break Vasquez down with body shots and outbox him. Vasquez might be able to close the distance and trade with Espinosa despite the huge reach and also height advantage, but Espinosa should have a strong enough chin to take those punches. I mean, he got dropped in his last fight, but he got back up and he still won with a technical knockout. So we'll definitely add Espinosa money line on a parlay. If the props drop, we might bet on Espinosa stopping Vasquez. Okay, Rohan Polanco versus Fabian Maidana. We think Polanco can stop Fabian or drop him. It's too big of a difference in terms of power and skill level in our opinion, so we would bet on a knockdown or Polanco by knockout or TKO prop. Alright, that pretty much sums it up, and thank you guys for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. If there's a fight that you'd like me to cover, please do, and if you think different or if you agree with me, let's start a conversation in the comments below, and I'm looking forward to see you guys next weekend for more fights.